Every day, without realizing it, you wake up and switch into autopilot mode. You think the same thoughts and reinforce the same reality. What repeats strengthens, and what strengthens becomes identity. The great risk is that if you don't program your mind, the world will do it for you. Undigested childhood words and unprocessed emotions become a code your mind runs. That's why, even when you desire to thrive, something seems to hold you back. Not because of weakness, but because of a mental software still running old commands. This video marks a turning point. Stay until the end to discover how to open a portal in life. In today's video, you'll dive into this invisible code. We'll unravel how the brain works, understand why the mind resists, and activate a practical ritual of reprogramming. Stay with me until day 17. That's where a silent shift happens. A moment when the mind starts to yield. This video isn't just made to be watched. It's meant to be lived, felt, and applied. Let me introduce you to Lara. Lara was a graphic designer gifted with talent in her hands. Her creations had soul, colors, shapes that moved people. But her own heart seemed camouflaged in insecurities. From a young age, she heard phrases like, "Those who choose art end up starving. Artists can't pay the bills. Those who live from the soul live in poverty." These phrases, spoken as warnings or veiled criticism, were etched into her inner records like tight ropes. As she heard those things in childhood, her inner voice began to mold. She became invisible in value, accepted any price when selling her work, even knowing it was worth more. Did free work, afraid to say no. Internally, she felt like she was a burden just by existing. The bills kept coming. Overdue rent, maxed out payments, denied loan attempts. Bank apps became a barrage of scarcity confirmations. With every notification, a knot in the chest. She had creative friends who spoke highly of her work, but rarely paid on time. Family members praised her. "You have a gift," but didn't see the internal weight on her shoulders. At social gatherings, when asked, "Do you live off that?" she'd murmur yes with a shaky voice. And inside she thought, will they judge me if I admit I'm not living well off this? In creative meetings with clients, she smiled and said yes to requests that went beyond the agreed scope, accepted extra revisions, deadline extensions without charging. After ending the calls, she'd go to the bathroom or bedroom and cry. Not out of clear sadness, but from a sense of smallness, of having betrayed her own voice, of feeling her worth was invisible. Until one day, while quietly doing the dishes, something changed. One day, washing dishes, she let her phone play a video, one she barely noticed, until a sentence pierced her core. "Your mind doesn't know the difference between what is true and what is repeated." That sentence echoed. Got stuck in time like a mantra. She began replaying the video multiple times, closed her eyes, repeated the sentence in her mind, tried to feel it in her body, chest, stomach, throat. Then she grabbed an old notebook. At the top of the first page, she wrote boldly, "What if the problem isn't my talent, but the belief that limits me?" That phrase wasn't learned. It was recognized, an echo of the soul asking for expression. Every day she returned to that notebook, researched the law of attraction, neurolinguistics, practical spirituality, read complementary passages, jotted down ideas, wrote affirmations she wished to believe, even when her emotions resisted. At first, she felt like she was pretending. The voice of self-sabotage said, "You're wasting time. This is ridiculous." Even so, something tiny within her insisted, "But what if it's real?" Even trembling, even doubting, even getting emotional mid-sentence, that was the inaugural moment of reprogramming. In the first days, the change was nearly invisible, tiny cracks in the inner soil. Just a restlessness in the chest, a light anxiety about the future, as if something wanted to emerge. But then, the micro-victories began. In 3 weeks, she found the courage to reject an abusive client, something she had never done. In 2 months, she dared to charge 3 times more than she used to, and did it without hesitation. In 90 days, she paid rent with ease, and bought herself gifts, without guilt, without internal shaking. These simple gestures seemed small but carried growing strength. They didn't come from nowhere. They were external reflections of something transforming within. It wasn't luck. It was internal coherence manifesting. The mind was beginning to align with the new code she was planting. With time, she noticed that people who once ignored her work began to ask, "Did you make this? How did it turn out so different? You're radiating something new." Some clients came through referrals. Some friends said, "You've changed." And she knew, yes, she had changed. Not because the world approved, but because she had begun to approve of herself. Lara didn't conquer the world. She decoded herself. And when that happened, something inside crumbled, an invisible wall, a fortress made of fear and doubt. And in that crumbling, a portal opened, silent, discreet, yet irrevocable. She didn't become someone else. She rediscovered the one who had always been there, buried beneath scarcity beliefs. And from that point on, her life could no longer be the same. Now let's go on an inner journey. Understand how your mind, your biology, and your soul intertwine, and why this entanglement allows transformation. Think of your mind as fertile, silent soil. Everything you plant, ideas, emotions, visions, takes root. The mind doesn't judge. It welcomes what is repeated. Each fragile repetition pulls an underground cable. Each firm repetition paves an inner road. What began as a faint trail becomes a neural highway. This dynamic is explained by Hebb's law. Neurons that fire together, wire together. If you think "I don't deserve" repeatedly, those circuits automatically strengthen. They run on autopilot, requiring minimal effort. Becoming someone who deserves abundance, that path is still overgrown. So repeating the new belief becomes an act of digging, paving, renewing. Another essential mechanism is the reticular activating system, the RAS. Imagine a mental gatekeeper deciding what you perceive in the world. It receives billions of stimuli per second, but only shows your consciousness what your internal focus deems relevant. If your mind is tuned to scarcity beliefs, the RAS will filter out and hide anything that could represent abundance. But if you internalize the belief, "I deserve to thrive," and repeat it with conviction, this gatekeeper starts to highlight resources, ideas, opportunities, clients you previously ignored. You begin to see what was already there because your filter changed. There's also neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to reorganize itself throughout life. Each sincere new belief creates synapses. Dendrites stretch out, connections strengthen. Old abandoned pathways go through synaptic pruning. They weaken, disappear. You literally reshape your neural architecture in real time. You're not stuck in the past. You can rewrite your mental script. You start to reprogram, but something inside you resists. That resistance isn't a flaw. It's a sign. The brain is an efficient organ. It seeks energy conservation. It prefers existing patterns, even painful ones, because they require less effort. The unworthiness program is already running smoothly. When you present something new, the brain must activate less used circuits. That takes energy. And that energy shows up as fatigue, lack of motivation, an inner voice saying, "Go back to what felt safe." That effort is the friction of innovation. You're pushing something that doesn't yet have a path. That brings doubt, laziness, the urge to give up. That moment hits hard, and that's where many retreat. For Lara, that moment came on day 17. It was the day when the new demanded too much, and the old screamed louder. She felt sudden fatigue, a disheartening voice, lingering doubts. If she had backed down, all her early progress would have been for nothing. But she smiled through the pain and said, "This is part of the process." That sentence became a turning point. That attitude created the first crack in the mental wall. In the moment she chose not to retreat, she made an invisible fracture, enough for something new to seep in. In that moment, Lara didn't just persist. She opened a portal. An inner portal, silent yet profound. From that point on, the reality around her began to shift, because something within her had shifted first. And this is the secret few understand. The portal of transformation doesn't open on the outside. It opens within, and when it opens, there is no turning back. Lara was never the same again. She didn't just reprogram her mind. She redrew her soul. What used to be automatic repetition became conscious action. The inner pillars creaked and gave way to make room for the new. And when that happened, the portal flung wide open. Now it wasn't just a metaphor, it was real. The portal opened for Lara, and through her, new lines of reality began to flow. And now, I want to hear from you. What touched you the most on your journey? Which sentence kept echoing inside you? Leave a comment sharing what you felt, your insight, or even a simple "I felt it." That makes all the difference. And if this video helped you in any way, like it, subscribe to the channel to receive the next video, and turn on the notification bell. It's not just a technical gesture. It's the most beautiful way to say, I want to keep walking this path. I'll see you at the next portal. You are always welcome here. God bless you.